everybody. It's Hugh Kellenberger here. Standing next to me is Dustin Dopirak, coming to you from the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin, where it is supposedly -10 outside. That is not wind chill.
No, that's straight
That
up.
is straight -10. I don't even want to know.
I don't want to go outside at all. I think
I don't want.
I might just. Yeah, I don't think I want to know about it.
Dustin, here's the cheesy transition. So cold outside, both teams were hot inside.
That was lame. That was. Really
Indiana
lame.
shoots 51%. Wisconsin shoots 49%. But the key thing. Wisconsin goes to the free throw line 17 times in the second half, 5 and 1s. Best free throw shooting team in the nation. They make 16. Get a 9-point win against the Hoosiers.
Yeah. No, I mean they made big plays when they had to, and they turned them into 3-point plays when they had to. I mean there were just a few occasions where IU guys were late or they were out of position. There were a couple of times where they should not. You should have just kind of you don't want to say giving up on the play, but recognize your beat and don't make it worse. And they turned those. They turned those into a lot. And there was obviously, I thought, the kind of deciding play of the game was John Moore's bank shot, where he just kind of threw up this hook and somehow managed to draw a foul from Tom Pritchard. Even though he was straight up.
Lure initiated the contact. Pritchard was standing straight up. Tom Pritchard likes to. I mean, he's a guy with a history of fouling.
Yeah, he commits a lot
and
of those.
reputation
And
reputation does matter.
It does,
but it shouldn't as much as it sometimes does.
Yeah,
you go to Wisconsin. You go to Wisconsin. You probably have to be 10 points better than the Badgers in order to get the win.
Pretty much,
because they're gonna get the calls.
Yeah, they do get the calls here. Period.
Right.
But that's just how it works. But I mean, you have to say this is one of the better performances Indiana might have had all year.
Yeah, I think it's actually the best. That's Greg Rosenstein from the Indiana Daily Student. Yeah, I mean, I think it was the best performance.
We might as well keep you here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Stay. Yeah, stay.
Yeah.
See, Rosie, we were talking about the free throw differential. How many points do you have to be better than Wisconsin in order to beat Wisconsin?
I'd say at least 10, maybe. What are you thinking?
I said 10.
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said.
10, 12, somewhere around there. Greg, was this the Hoosiers' best game of the season?
I mean, if you look at Michigan last week, I thought that was probably their best game, from beginning to end, because Crean said all year about consistency, playing on 40 minutes. I mean, they kind of did it tonight, but it seemed like Wisconsin was able to go on a couple of runs at the end, and they really couldn't hold on to that.
Right.
Against Michigan, they really took the lead and they held it the entire time.
Right.
So I think that was maybe.
But Wisconsin's a better team. Wisconsin's a better team and a worse matchup for this group. This is probably the best they've done against a team it should be them. That's a particularly bad matchup for them. And this is an extremely smart team in Wisconsin. They do everything right, more or less. I mean, they're a tough system team to deal with. Those are the type of teams that have given Indiana problems. It's the reason Northwestern beat them so bad. They're a very just disciplined team. They do not beat themselves. And yet Indiana stood pretty much toe-to-toe with these guys. I think Michigan is the type of team that you can they get rattled when they can't shoot. They're not physical, and that's the type of team that Indiana can take advantage of. Wisconsin's not that way, and for them to hang, I think, was a big kind of, feather in the cap, even though it's a loss.
Right. I mean, I think the big thing is that a week ago, a lot of people were trying to leave this team for dead.
Yeah.
They had lost, 5 in a row. They were gone. They were done. Let's talk about next year. Let's talk about 2 years from now. Let's talk about 3 years from now.
Right.
Let's talk about everything that's wrong with the program. Let's debate everything. And suddenly they've come up with a great effort against Michigan, and then they replicated that effort tonight against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So suddenly the whole mood around the program has changed. The Tom Crean we saw tonight was a guy that was proud of his team.
Right.
After those 5 losses, you couldn't say that a lot.
No. I think a lot of what's changed. I mean, defensively, you're never completely happy with what you're doing defensively, but I think offensively, a lot of things have changed with the way they're operating. Most importantly, Verdell Jones is playing well, and he's been extremely inconsistent all year. He finally puts together back-to-back good performances. Not spectacular. He had some mistakes tonight. He's always going to have some mistakes. Verdell's probably never going to play a perfect game. But he was shooting well. He was attacking. For the most part, he was doing a lot of things well. And we saw a lot of things on offense that we haven't seen all year. We saw a lot of off-the-ball screening today.
I'd say complete energy was there in these last couple of games, and they weren't really there before. If you looked at Northwestern, it was a lot of standing around the arc, passing off to one guy, who's just going to take it in, and then everyone kind of just watch from the outside. The last couple of games, you've seen a lot more cutting, a lot more just running around the court trying to get open. I mean, the energy, I think, is just the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys missed it because you went to go talk to the players. I stayed inside to go ahead and finish my column. And the Wisconsin players and Bill Ryan both said they actually had trouble with Indiana's offense because the spacing was there, and they were setting smart screens, and Wisconsin was really struggling with how to switch. And so, when this offense is executed and they are making shots out of it, it can work.
Right. Well, he's tweaking, though. I think it's obvious he's tweaking.
He's adding,
he might not
maybe
say
it. To you?
Right.
Yes.
No. Come on. He's adding stuff.
No.
He's adding stuff all the time. I think that's a progression throughout the season with a young team. You start with a real base. Remember, he talked on and on about how they weren't even talking about offense. They were all defense, all defense. And so I think now if we could see a practice, I would bet a lot of it is focused on half-court offense.
Yeah, and new stuff. I mean, again, the ball move well. The screening is getting a lot better. I mean, the screening has at times been really awful. There's been a lot of ball screens, guys kind of going through the motions at the top of the key. Tonight you saw some well-executed ones, some ones that guys were not, defenders were not prepared for, that were sat well, that really, really held them up, and they were both on and off the ball. The on-the-ball screening is better, the off-the-ball screening is there, which it wasn't, and the ball moves well. All of this is working out. It's getting guys open shots, it's getting guys decent looks, and Verdell's attacking, which opens up things for everybody. So all of a sudden they have an offense that can do something, as opposed to a couple weeks ago when they really didn't.
I do like the bigger lineup with Elston, Pritchard, and Wofford all playing together. They did that more tonight.
Right.
I think that helps with screening. I think that helps with rebounding.
Right.
When you're playing a team like Wisconsin that does have a surprising amount of trees, and the one thing about Indiana's guys is none of them are truly big men, but now they're Wisconsin. It's like, how many times does Keaton Aguilar go inside the post? Never. The guy, I mean, he shot He shot 6 free throws tonight. That's usually 4 games for him because he's such a perimeter guy. John Lord does have a post game, but he's more of a
he's an inside-outside guy. He's a European-style big man. I would say.
Just looking at that, I mean, one guy who's been criticized a lot in the last year or two, Pritchard, I think has done really well in the last few games, just especially defensively. He's guarding a lot of their top guys and a lot of these big guys who are playing on the perimeter, and I think he's done a pretty good job in terms of that.
I was going to ask you, how much of a difference do you see in him in the last couple of games?
I mean, offensively, he's still not really doing anything. I don't think he's looking at that.
They're not asking it.
I mean, just defensively, I think he's doing a lot better. And also, I mean, early in the year, he was getting in foul trouble really early. Now he's not really getting in as much foul trouble.
Right.
So.
No, I think he's playing a much smarter game. I think he's playing a much smarter game defensively than he has. I mean, he's basically not a part of the offense. For whatever reason, his job is to set screens to the top of the key. That's what he does. They don't try to get him the ball in the low block at all. But I mean, defensively, he makes a big difference when he's in there. I guess he's really the only guy right now that can have sort of a low block presence. I mean, Elston still doesn't really know what he's doing there, and Watford really doesn't either. But Pritchard at least did all he could to give Lord trouble tonight. I mean, especially the big play that Lord made. I mean, Pritchard was all over him. He was doing everything he was supposed to do. He was right in the right position.
Do you know
it took Lure 18 shots to score 20 points.
Yeah, so.
I mean, just looking at the next few games, do you not see it being an issue at all with Pritchard not ever looking at the hoop and going for it? And then you also have a guy like Rivers. So if both of them are at the same time, you're pretty much going 3 on 5. Is that an issue?
No, because Rivers scored 8 points against Michigan.
Yeah,
I guess he went
to the hoop several times tonight. I think Jeremiah has progressed, and I think he's now seeing those opportunities. Right. I think you're right. I think early in the season that was a
it seemed like Rivers had been commanded. It seemed like Rivers had. I mean, if you told me there's a system where Rivers has to earn shots, if Rivers gets so many shots for so many rebounds, so many steals, so many deflections, or whatever, if you tell me he does not get a shot until he does a certain amount of those, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think from the beginning of the year, he was commanded not to shoot. That's what it looked like, and it seems like he's earned the right again to at least take the shots that are within his repertoire. He drives in straight lines. He's not really allowed to try to really break somebody down, but I mean, when he has a lane, he's allowed to go take it. When he has a mid-range jumper, he's allowed to take it. Those sorts of things.
None of you could hear that at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Jeremiah Rivers good on offense. It's not a league. That's the 10-second version. All right, Hoosiers going back to Bloomington. They will then turn around after Dave classes, I presume, and then go to.
Good luck to them for making it and trying to be awake.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Have fun with that, guys.
Yeah, we'll be crashing here.
I once saw an Appalachian State basketball player walk out of class because he was sleeping.
Yeah.
And the teacher scolded him, and he was like, I had a 9 o'clock game and had a 6-hour bus ride back. Screw you, and walked out.
that could happen to me.
I liked it. I'm sure they'll all go to class and all do fine.
They have pretty sweet buses, though. So
yeah, they do. They'll go to Iowa. I'm sure they're flying back.
Probably.
They'll go to Iowa. Iowa's a plucky team, a team that is really playing for Flan McCaffrey, but Indiana needs this win.
Yeah, they do.
It's
I think
win for.
I think they're in better shape with them.
Again.
I think
Penn State's.
I mean, just where else are you going to get these Big Ten wins? I mean,
Michigan, Northwestern, and Northwestern.
Right. But I'll say this: I think this year they've got a better shots against Iowa than they did last year. When Iowa had Fuller and Jared Cole, they were a really bad matchup for Indiana because they just had two bulky dudes inside that really pushed them around. They don't have Fuller anymore, and it doesn't seem like they play quite as rugged as they did a year ago.
No, they're not nearly as rugged. They're very up tempo and just kind of playing.
So that changes to something that makes it a better matchup for Indiana than it was a year ago.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. As always, apologize for the minute of disturbance. They're breaking down the basketball court and setting up the ice hockey arena. Thanks for watching, as always.
Thanks, guys.